What if everything you've ever wanted is just on the other side of showing up? Would you dare to take the first step? Asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when the silence gets too loud, the waiting gets too long, and the dreams that once felt so alive begin to fade into shadows. But in that silence, behind that delay, something powerful still calls your name. Your dream is not gone, it's not lost, it's not denied, it's waiting for one thing only. It's waiting for you to show up. Somewhere deep inside you, there's a fire that refuses to die, a vision, a purpose, a dream that once made your heart race and your eyes glow. And while you've been questioning your worth, doubting your ability, or fearing the unknown, your dream has been standing at the door of your destiny, hoping today would be the day you'd finally knock. You don't need perfection. You don't need everyone's approval. What you need is to believe that your presence in this world matters, and that what's inside you was never meant to stay locked away. Because every time you deny your gift, the world loses a little magic it was meant to have. The truth is, life doesn't wait forever, but your dream, it's patient. It doesn't scream, it whispers, it doesn't chase, it invites. And that invitation is still open. Yes, you've fallen. Yes, you've failed. Yes, you've been afraid. But that doesn't mean it's over. It means you've been in training for the moment you decide to rise. Everything that hurt you was preparing you. Every heartbreak, every silence, it was shaping the warrior who's now ready to walk boldly into the life you've always imagined. So don't wait to be ready. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for a sign. You are the sign. Your dream is not a fantasy, it's your future. And it's alive and waiting for you to finally believe that you are enough, that you are capable, and that you are worthy of the life calling your name. Asterisk, there's a space in this world only you can fill, a mission only you can complete, a dream sculpted by the hands of your own soul, and the dream is still alive, not abandoned, not forgotten, just waiting for your arrival. It's standing at the edge of possibility, looking out into a horizon it cannot cross without you. Every single second you hesitate, that dream waits not with frustration, but with unshakable belief. It knows your worth even when you question it. It holds space for you even when you've gone missing in doubt. It doesn't need you to be perfect, it needs you to be present. Because that vision you carry inside you is not imaginary, it is real, tangible, and deeply rooted in the core of who you are. You were never created to live in the background of your own story. You were made to rise, to take center stage in the very life you keep postponing. The pain, the pressure, the detours, they didn't show up to destroy you. They showed up to prepare you. Everything you survived wasn't a mistake. It was the training ground for your potential. Yet the world will never feel your power if you never stand in it. Your dream doesn't need more time. It needs your courage. It needs your commitment. It needs the version of you that's tired of waiting and ready to rise. Not tomorrow, but now. Asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, your dream is not something you randomly thought about one afternoon. It is not just a whisper of imagination or a fleeting desire you stumbled upon. It is a reflection of something deeper, something embedded in your soul before you had the words to describe it. It is the calling etched into the very structure of your being. You didn't choose it, it chose you. That dream, whether it's to create, build, heal, teach, lead, speak, write, innovate, or transform, is not waiting for conditions to be perfect. It's waiting for you to stand up and say, I'm ready. And readiness doesn't come from having everything figured out. Readiness is a decision, a declaration that you are willing to show up despite the fear, the wounds, the doubt, and the uncertainties. Most people are not defeated by failure. They are defeated by hesitation. The hesitation to believe, the hesitation to begin, the hesitation to try again. But dreams don't respond to hesitation, they respond to action. Your dream is standing at the edge of your silence, waiting for your voice. It's at the edge of your isolation, waiting for your presence. It's not miles away. It's a single step forward, waiting for you to reach out and touch the life that was meant to be yours. And that step is not about physical movement, it's about internal alignment. It's about choosing faith over fear, conviction over comfort, resilience over resignation. Because the truth is, dreams don't die. People abandon them. But even when you've walked away, your dream stays rooted in place, unwavering. It knows the strength buried beneath your brokenness. It sees the light still glowing under the ashes of your disappointments. It recognizes that you are more than your struggles, you are more than the mistakes you've made. more than the doubts you've absorbed, more than the limits you've believed. You don't need to be the most talented, the smartest, or the most supported. What you need is relentless faith, a fierce commitment to show up for yourself, to silence the inner critic that keeps telling you that you're not ready, that you're too late, that someone else is more deserving. Your dream doesn't care about those lies. It's rooted in truth, and the truth is this: you matter. What you carry matters. And the world is incomplete without your contribution. But dreams can't walk on their own. They need you. They wait for the one who dared to dream them, and no one else can substitute for your presence. You are the only one who can bring it to life in the exact way it was meant to live. Look around. The world is full of distractions, designed to make you forget what you're capable of, designed to convince you to play it safe, to stay hidden, to shrink. But your dream doesn't want a smaller version of you. It doesn't want the version that fits into someone else's expectations. It wants the bold you, the messy you, the scarred you, the healing you, the real you. That's who your dream has been waiting for. Not the illusion of who you think you're supposed to be, but the truth of who you already are. And I promise you, that is enough. Yes, there will be days when showing up feels heavy, when the world feels too loud and your energy feels too low, when you question everything you've ever hoped for. But showing up doesn't mean being fearless, it means being brave. Bravery is walking into the unknown with shaking hands, but steady intention. It's saying yes to yourself, even when your past is shouting no. It's choosing to rise each time life knocks you down, not because it's easy, but because your dream is worth it. The people who change the world are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who showed up when it was hard, who kept going when no one was clapping, who believed when no one else could see the vision. They are not superhuman. They are just committed. And that's all you need, to be committed to becoming the person your dream requires. Because the moment you show up not half-heartedly, not occasionally, but with full presence and power, the entire universe shifts, doors open, connections form, resources appear, not because they weren't there before, but because you finally showed up to claim them. There's nothing more painful than a dream that dies inside someone who never tried. But there's also nothing more beautiful than a life lived fully in pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. You have that choice right now. You have that power. Don't give in to fear disguised as practicality. Don't surrender your passion in the name of comfort. Don't let your gifts remain buried beneath doubt. There is a reason your heart keeps returning to that dream. There is a reason it still lives inside you after everything you've faced. That's not coincidence. That's purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, your dream is not running away from you. It's waiting. It's holding space. But it can't wait forever. There comes a time when you have to look in the mirror and make a decision. Do you want to keep running from the life meant for you, or do you want to finally rise into it? Today can be that turning point. This moment can be the beginning of everything you've been hoping for, but only if you show up, not as someone who's already achieved it, not as someone who has all the answers, just as someone who's willing to take the risk, willing to be seen, willing to grow, willing to trust, because the only thing your dream has ever asked of you is that you show up and try, that you meet it halfway, that you stop waiting for the stars to align and realize that the stars have always been inside you. So stop hesitating, stop doubting, stop postponing. The life you crave, the freedom you long for, the legacy you were born to live, it's all on the other side of one choice, the choice to believe that you are the one your dream has been waiting for. Asterisk. Asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, when you look back over your life, the moments that stand out are not the ones when you felt comfortable, safe, or certain. They're the ones where you risked everything for something greater. The ones where you stood on the edge of fear and still said yes. The moments you showed up, not because you had all the confidence in the world, but because something inside you refused to stay silent any longer. That's where power lives, not in the outcome, not in the applause, but in the choice to show up when it would have been easier to stay hidden. And your dream, the one that's been calling to you for years now, it's not asking you for perfection. It's not asking you to be fearless. It's asking you to trust that even in your uncertainty, your presence has weight, your steps have meaning, your courage has momentum. And right now, in this exact moment, it's not your dream that's on hold, it's you. There are thousands of people out there with talent, millions with potential. But the difference between those who succeed and those who remain spectators in their own lives is one word: presence. Not the kind of presence that simply takes up space, but the kind that declares, I am here, and I will no longer hide from my purpose. So many people go to their graves, never knowing the power they held, never realizing that the thing they longed for was waiting all along, not for fate, not for luck, not for some external miracle, but for them to rise. Every excuse you've made, every time you said not now, every moment you chose comfort over growth, didn't kill your dream, but it did delay your freedom, because that's what dreams do. They don't just change your life, they liberate your soul. They wake you up. They drag you from mediocrity and place you in the fire where greatness is born. But none of that can happen if you keep standing on the sidelines, watching other people live the life you were meant to create. The world is full of noise. People telling you what's realistic, what's too much, what you should settle for. But your dream doesn't answer to their opinions. It answers only to your voice. So the question is, are you willing to speak? Are you willing to break the silence you've kept for years? Because silence may feel safe, but it starves the spirit. Your voice is the truth of your journey, your experiences. Your passion is the oxygen your dream needs. And until you stop censoring it, until you stop watering yourself down to make others comfortable, you will never feel the fullness of what your life can be. Let me be clear, showing up isn't glamorous. It's not always applause and instant success. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's taking one painful step forward through a storm that refuses to break. But every step is building something unshakable inside you. A resilience that cannot be manufactured. A depth that cannot be faked. That's where transformation happens, in the unseen, in the undecided, in the decision to keep showing up even when no one is watching. That's where greatness is born, not in being seen, but in choosing to see yourself. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you've been waiting for the moment that says it's time, it's now. Not because you're finally good enough, but because you've always been. The belief that you have to earn your worth is a lie the world sold you. The truth is, your worth is the reason the dream exists in the first place. It's not random. It's not fantasy. It's a blueprint that lives inside your bones, and no one else can build it but you. But here's the part no one tells you. Your dream will not chase you. It will not beg. It will not scream. It will stand quietly, holding everything you've ever wanted, waiting for the day you stop looking for permission and start walking in power. Because dreams are sacred. They don't reveal themselves to those who treat them like convenience. They reveal themselves to those who honor them with effort, with belief, with persistence. And if you're thinking, but I've failed before, I've tried and it didn't work, let me tell you something. Every setback carved the path you're meant to walk now. Every closed door taught you something essential. Every rejection planted seeds of strength you didn't know you had. Failure wasn't the end. It was the invitation. An invitation to rise stronger, wiser, fiercer, to become the version of yourself that your dream has been waiting to meet. Showing up isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's the daily decision to stand for what you believe in, to protect your vision like a flame in the wind, to say yes again and again, even when everything in you wants to quit. And in doing that, something incredible happens. You stop chasing your dream and you start becoming it. Your presence becomes the proof. Your life becomes the message, and people begin to see what happens when someone refuses to give up. Ladies and gentlemen, your dream is still alive because you are still alive, and as long as breath remains in your lungs, the chance to rewrite your story is yours. The future is not written in stone, it's written in choices. So today, choose to show up, choose to rise, choose to break the silence, choose to stop being a ghost in your own life. The world doesn't need another shadow, it needs your light. The pure, unfiltered, powerful light of a person who dared to answer their calling. Don't let another day pass in hiding. Don't let fear be the author of your story. Don't allow uncertainty to rob you of the destiny that's waiting with arms wide open. Your dream is not in the distance, it's in this very moment, asking you to believe, to stand, to act, to become. And the moment you do, everything changes. Asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lie the world has told you, and you may have started believing it without even noticing. That lie is this: that your dream is only valid if others believe in it, that your potential only matters if it's already recognized, that unless you are seen, you are nothing. But I'm here to tell you, with every fiber of my voice, that your dream was never born from validation. It was born from fire. It was born from a moment, or a memory, or a heartbeat that whispered to you in the dark. You were made for something more. And that whisper wasn't random. It was sacred. It was your soul calling you back to yourself. Because the truth is, your dream doesn't need an audience, it needs an awakening. It doesn't wait for applause, it waits for action. And it is done waiting. It's time to show up. We live in a world where people confuse being busy with being purposeful, where people chase achievements but lose themselves in the process. But your dream isn't interested in surface success. It's not just about goals and titles and trophies. It's about impact. It's about meaning. It's about fulfillment. And none of that is possible unless you bring your whole self to the table, not the filtered version, not the edited version, but the real one. The one that has been bruised but refuses to break. The one that carries both scars and strength. The one that has every reason to quit but chooses to rise instead. You see, showing up is not about the outcome, it's about ownership. It's about standing tall in your truth and saying, this is mine, this vision, this voice, this purpose, it belongs to me. And in that ownership, you stop shrinking. You stop waiting for approval. You stop hiding behind excuses that sound logical but are rooted in fear. Because fear will disguise itself as caution, as strategy, as timing. It will tell you, just wait a little longer. But your dream doesn't speak the language of delay. It speaks the language of now. If you knew how powerful your next step could be, you wouldn't hesitate. If you could see the doors that would open just by showing up fully, you wouldn't keep holding yourself back. But the reason most people never see those doors is because they never knock, they never risk, they never show up long enough to receive what was always theirs. And it's not because they weren't worthy, it's because they gave up too soon. Too many people buried their dreams alive. They abandoned them in silence. But you are not one of them. You are the exception. You are the one who doesn't back down, who doesn't stay quiet, who doesn't leave their purpose behind, just because the road is steep. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, you were not created to blend in. You were not created to follow a script written by someone else. Your dream didn't come from the world, it came through you, which means it's your responsibility to protect it, to feed it, to fight for it. And that fight doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's that moment at 3 a.m. when no one's watching and you decide to keep going. Sometimes it's turning down comfort for growth. Sometimes it's believing in yourself one more time after everyone else has stopped. This journey you're on, it will test you. It will stretch you. It will strip away every false belief you've ever had about your limits. But it will also reveal your strength. It will awaken your voice. It will connect you to something bigger than you ever imagined. Because your dream isn't just about you, it's about the people waiting for what only you can bring. The ones whose lives will change because you chose not to give up. The ones who are walking in darkness now, but will find light through what you build. That's the power of showing up. It creates ripples that reach further than you'll ever see. So when you feel tired, remember this, you're not just showing up for yourself. You're showing up for every future you, every person who needs your courage, every voice still too afraid to speak. You are a lighthouse in a storm. You are a mirror for someone who's forgotten how to dream. And your presence, your full, unfiltered, unapologetic presence can shift the atmosphere. Ladies and gentlemen, showing up isn't something you do once. It's a decision you make every day. It's not about waiting for clarity. It's about choosing faith. It's about becoming the kind of person your dream can trust. Because dreams are alive. They're conscious. They wait for those who respect their worth. And the moment you decide to respect your own enough to pursue them fully, something unexplainable happens. The air feels different. Time feels aligned. People, places, and opportunities begin to gravitate toward you. Why? Because purpose is magnetic. Because presence has power. Because the universe responds when you finally take yourself seriously. You cannot keep living half alive. You cannot keep whispering when your truth deserves to roar. You cannot keep circling the same fears, waiting for someone to rescue you from the responsibility of your own calling. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time, and everything that happened before today prepared you for this exact moment. All that remains is for you to stop questioning and start stepping. To stop delaying and start doing. To stop watching and start becoming. Your dream doesn't want perfection. It wants your yes. It wants your heart. It wants your effort. And if you give it that fully, completely, fiercely it will return to you something even greater than success. It will give you a life that feels like freedom, a life that tastes like fulfillment, a life that reminds you, every single day, that you were born for this. Asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point in life when silence becomes unbearable, not the silence around you, but the silence within you. That silent ache that whispers you were meant for more. That burning awareness that something inside you has been asleep for too long. That moment when distractions no longer numb the emptiness, and you realize that no matter how many people surround you, no matter how safe your comfort zone feels, you are still unfulfilled because you have not yet honored your purpose. That is the moment when everything begins to shift. That is the moment when your dream knocks not loudly, not forcefully, but just enough for your spirit to stir again. And in that sacred space, you are given a choice: shrink further into the shadows of fear, or rise boldly into the light of your calling. You see, aged dreams don't scream, they whisper. They don't chase, they invite. They don't beg for attention, ask for commitment. And your dream has been waiting for one thing: not money, not connections, not the right moment. It's been waiting for your presence, waiting for you to step forward, not with perfection, but with intention. Because showing up isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to ask the right questions. It's about refusing to live another day disconnected from what truly matters. You can't outsource that responsibility. You can't delegate that truth. You can't wait for someone to come and give you permission to start living your own life. The only person who can bring your dream to life is you. You've been taught to doubt yourself, conditioned to believe that survival is enough, that blending in is safer, that ambition is arrogance, that risk is foolish. But those messages are chainstand every time you obey them. You become a prisoner of potential. You were not created to merely exist. You were created to transform. And the battlefield for that transformation is within you. You will have to confront your past. You will have to dismantle the limiting beliefs that were never yours to carry. You will have to stand face to face with fear and choose courage over comfort. But every time you choose to show up despite the noise, you reclaim another piece of yourself. And piece by piece, you begin to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Every great story begins with someone who decided to say yes, not because they knew where the path would lead, not because the timing was perfect, but because they could no longer bear the cost of hiding, because they understood that a comfortable life without purpose is not a life, it's a performance. And too many people are out here performing, pretending, smiling on the outside while their dreams die slowly inside them. Don't become one of them. Don't let your light be dimmed by opinions that were never meant to guide you. Don't let your future be sacrificed on the altar of someone else's fears. Your dream is waiting, but it won't wait forever. Ladies and gentlemen, when you show up for your dream, you're not just doing it for yourself. You're showing others what's possible. You're giving permission to those still in the dark to believe that light is real. You're creating a legacy that cannot be measured in money or titles, but in lives touched, voices awakened, and chains broken, because every time you rise, you create space for others to rise too. Every time you speak, you shatter the silence someone else was drowning in. That's the ripple effect of purpose. It doesn't stop with you, but none of that happens until you choose to show up, not just once, not just when it's easy, but every single day, when you're tired, when you're unsure, when you're afraid, because consistency builds credibility. And when you keep showing up for your dream begins to show up for you. Opportunities you once thought were out of reach begin to appear, not because they suddenly exist, but because you finally became visible to them. Your presence becomes magnetic, your energy shifts, your posture changes, and the world begins to respond to the version of you that is no longer hiding. You don't need to know exactly how it will work. You just need to know that it will. You do, because your dream is not built on certainty. It's built on commitment, on the willingness to take the next step, even when the path ahead is blurry, on the belief that your future deserves to be built even if it takes every ounce of faith you have left. Because faith is not just hoping. Faith is building. Faith is walking when there is no guarantee. Faith is waking up every day and choosing to believe that what you carry matters. And if you can hold on to that belief long enough, if you can nurture it, protect it, and act on it, then your dream will meet you at the point of your persistence. So the next time you feel like giving up, ask yourself this: what am I really giving up on? A dream, a calling, a version of me that finally believed I was enough. And is the price of quitting really worth the pain of never knowing who I could have become? Because the truth is, regret is heavier than failure. And the only way to avoid it is to show up again and again. Not because it's easy, not because you always feel strong, but because you know deep down that this dream was meant for you, that this fire wasn't lit to be ignored, that this purpose wasn't planted in you to die unnamed. Ladies and gentlemen, your life is waiting for you to take it seriously. Your dream is waiting for you to show up. Not as someone perfect, but as someone brave, as someone who's done with excuses, as someone who is finally ready to live, not just exist. This is not just another motivational speech. This is a mirror, and I hope you see yourself clearly now, not as someone lost or broken, but as someone powerful enough to start again, to stand, to speak, to show up. Asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, there is something extraordinary about the moment you decide not to wait anymore. That second when you shift from hesitation to action, when you stop looking over your shoulder for approval and start walking toward the future with your own 2 feet. It is not loud, it does not always feel epic, but it is the moment that separates a life of what if from a life of I did. The moment you decide to show up is the moment your dream begins to breathe. It doesn't matter how long it's been asleep. It doesn't matter how many times you've ignored it, abandoned it, or buried it under obligations and fears. Dreams don't die easily. They are stubborn, they are sacred. They live in the corners of your spirit, patient and persistent, refusing to vanish until you honor them. And now, more than ever, your dream is still waiting for one thing to see you. Don't have to know how to do everything. You just have to start. And starting doesn't mean doing something grand. It can be quiet. It can be subtle. It can be as simple as making a promise to yourself that you won't keep running away. It can be waking up tomorrow and deciding that you are worth showing up for. It can be standing in front of a mirror and saying, I believe in you, even when you don't fully mean it yet, because repetition builds belief, and belief fuels action, and action transforms everything. Your dream cannot unfold without your belief. It doesn't require your resources. It requires your resolve. Think of every person who ever inspired you, every name you remember, every story that shook your soul. None of them began as legends. They began as individuals who chose to defy their fear, even when that fear screamed louder than anything else. They showed up when the odds were stacked, when the room was empty, when their hands trembled, and they did it again and again, until one day the world turned around and said, we see you. But that validation didn't give them their worth, it only reflected what they had already claimed for themselves. You're not too late, you're not too broken, you're not too far behind. Stop measuring your worth by how many likes you get, how many followers you have, how much attention you receive. That's not success, that's noise. True success is found in the silence, when you keep creating, keep building, keep believing, even when the world seems uninterested. That's the kind of presence that scares fear and commands respect. That's the kind of presence your dream has been asking for. Not the one that waits for applause, but the one that knows its value even in isolation. And yes, the path will be hard. It will test your resolve. It will challenge every excuse you've ever used to hide. You'll be confronted with failure. You'll face rejection. People will misunderstand you. They will doubt you. They might even mock your vision. But that's not your business. Your business is to show up anyway, to rise anyway, to speak anyway, to build anyway. Because the only one who needs to believe in your dream in the beginning is you. The world catches up later, but only if you stay long enough for them to find you. Stop shrinking to fit into spaces you've outgrown. Stop toning yourself down so others feel comfortable. You are not here to be palatable. You are here to be powerful. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break the mold. Your dream is not a luxury. It is a responsibility. You were entrusted with it for a reason. It was assigned to you because you are the only one who can bring it into the world exactly the way it was meant to be born. No one else can replicate your voice. No one else can duplicate your purpose. So stop trying to be a copy when you were created to be original. And let's be honest, this world desperately needs people who are awake, people who are alive, people who are not just drifting from one day to the next, but living on purpose. People who carry fire in their eyes and conviction in their bones. That's you. You are not too soft. You are not too intense. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. And every time you show up as yourself, you give someone else permission to do the same. That is the legacy you leave behind, not in things, not in status, but in the lives you awaken through your example. So stop asking the world if you're allowed to shine. The answer is yes. It's always been yes. You were born to light up spaces, to disrupt patterns, to build bridges between possibility and reality. Your dream is the blueprint, your courage is the key, and your presence is the ignition. Show up scared, show up unsure, show up imperfect, but show up, because the cost of staying silent is too high, because the weight of regret is too heavy, because the joy of becoming who you were born to be is waiting, and it's worth everything. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your time, not tomorrow, not next year, not someday when. This moment, right now, this breath, this heartbeat, this decision to rise. You've carried this dream for long enough. It's time to set it free. It's time to walk in the direction of the life you were destined for. You don't need a plan, you need a decision. And that decision changes everything. Don't wait another second. Your dream is waiting, and it will not wait forever. Show up, stand tall, speak loud, begin. Thank you.